then, ladies and gentlemen, now let's quickly move on to our next exciting session, which is the review. Are you ready to hit reset? As we have seen in the past 12 months, that most of the old strategies and tactics have become obsolete and redundant. It is time that something new must be embraced. We are also seeing that the role of CMO has been changing gradually. This session will quintessentially give you an understanding of how and what needs to be quickly reset in order to attune yourself for the new normal and growth beyond it. To the changing times at the horizon, new advancements, and of course, creating new leaders. So, now without taking much more of your time, please help me invite our speaker, Mr. Raghav Gupta, Group Global CX Expedia Group, here on screen with a huge round of applause.
Thank you so much, Nepa, for that introduction. Awesome, and I think you've set the ball rolling. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Raghav. I hope you all are doing well and are safe. I'm Raghav. I'm part of the customer experience and customer journey team at Expedia Group based in London. And for folks who are not aware about what Expedia does, Expedia is one of the biggest travel tech companies in the world. And like so many other industries and companies, we were really at the center of all the ground which was taken by the industry when the pandemic hit us. And that has actually provided us a lot of new learnings and a lot of different ways of doing business or understanding customers, which I'll be sharing a small snippet with you all today. I hope you can gain or I can add 2 cents to all the great stuff shared by various speakers, various panelists and presenters today. So without any further ado, are you ready to hit reset? And if I move to the next slide, we all know, and what we've learned in this 1 year is that a repeat customer is more powerful, is more valuable than just a single transaction. We also know that retaining a customer helps us in building loyalty, building customer lifetime value. At the same time, it showcases that there is a trust which is built with the customer in that journey from the discovery to the after sales stage. And in this process, we all have also learned, and I know one of the panelists in the previous session in the morning also spoke about how we can be more proactive than being reactive. Like I can give an example of what we went through. So overnight, our servicing space of the business became our main business because there were hardly any customers transacting on our platform. And we were taking on a back foot. We were really reactive in how we solve the customer problems of flight cancellations and lodging rescheduling and so on and so forth. And that taught us the value of being proactive in some of those areas of the business, which doesn't get the share of love, which it really requires. So being more proactive than reactive and to help our customers in the journey is more powerful. How do we go about doing all of this? There are no brownie points for guessing this. We know that to really understand our customers' needs and preferences, we need to predict what our customers feel, what the customers' needs are, what they really want from us. And we all know that some of the tools which we use, like the survey-based measurements, really just provide the tip of the iceberg where a customer who's had, for example, in the case of travel, they've booked 3 months before they kind of travel. And after they travel, when you send out a survey, there are so many various touch points which the customer has gone through in that journey. And that survey, or at that point of time, it would only cover a very limited window of what customers really want to tell us. It's up to us businesses to really understand what's beneath the surface and make sure we get that pulse of the customer as they are moving through the various stages of the customer journey. We all know that people are inherently bad at explaining behavior. This also makes a case in point for why predictive analysis in the customer experience space is more and more it's becoming more and more important, and which we need to focus on, because 95% of our brain activity is driven by hidden motivations that we aren't even aware that are taking place. And that's true with our customers, with our travelers, in our business, where we really need to be on top of the game and in top of our data lakes to really understand what our customers' goals, needs, movements, behaviors are all about. So, with that context, I will move to one of the examples of what we have done to really hit that reset and do things differently at Expedia to understand our customers. And calling it just as an analogy of a sandwich. So we call it the CX sandwich, to measure the customer's pulse. That means to measure customers' real-time movement to make sure we can make those improvements and fill those gaps on a regular basis. How do we go about doing that? So there are layers to that sandwich. The first is the transactional data. And I can give you an example of a product, which is, we all know, sits in our inboxes. It's the flight credit. We all had a flight or a hotel which got cancelled, and we got a credit for that, which we can redeem, in the same year, or till the time it doesn't expire for a few months. So there are those flight credits. We can, as a business, understand, what's the balance credits, what's been redeemed, what's been outstanding, how many customers are getting refunded. But on top of that, what's really important for us as a business to understand is what that interactional data looks like, in addition to the transactional data. And when I say interactional data, I can tell you, for us as a business, flight credits was something so new. It was literally a parallel capability and a function which we had to build overnight. The teams rolled out like an MVP. And that was an opportunity for us to say that, hey, we want to understand customers' behavior from the word go when this product is launched. So to give you an example, what's the click-through rate of the customer when they are progressing through the funnel? In the world of omni-channel and multi-channels, how are the customers switching between those channels? How frequently are they moving from that web shopping journey to the chatbot? When they're in the chatbot, they're abandoning the chatbot, calling an agent. If they're then, after calling an agent, are they going to the support page, or are they going back to the shopping path? Or are they just moving around in loops without actually reaching anywhere? Are we able to also understand the voice of the customer in a way which is more real time? So if the customers are having the conversations on the chatbot with the virtual agent or with an agent on chat, are we able to categorize and analyze that feedback, build those text analytics models to really know what their asks are, what their questions are, because the product, like a flight credit, is so new for all of us. And it was really important, and it's really important for us as a business to understand all of those various data sets and how customers are interacting to really predict the best possible outcome. And lastly, the customer profile data, which helps us in slicing and dicing all that interactional and the transactional data in a way we can prioritize what should we be, which customer segment to reach out to, whom to reach out to first, or which journeys to make or improve. So just to give you an example, we know that in the travel space, domestic travel picked up before international travel. So can we identify who are those customers who are traveling domestic, what their searches are on this new path of booking, what their questions are? Are customers asking, can they use the credits for the same carrier which they got on the international route, on the domestic route? What did the customer who booked a package compared to a standalone? Are they booking earlier than what predicted? Are they looking for a hotel to be attached or a car to be attached to their flight? Do we need to serve that need? Which is the customer base we really need to reach out first, or the low hanging fruit? So all of that data, adding the customer profile to that interactions and that transactional data, is that powerful force together, building that data lake to really understand the pulse of the business or the pulse of our customers. However, the bread to the sandwich is really the overarching customer journey. Uh, in this case, and in a lot of businesses case, customers move between the web, then to the app, from app to the chatbot, from chatbot to picking up the phone. And if to really understand holistically that end-to-end journey of the customer, and I guess Sam in the previous Sam from Flipkart in the previous session also mentioned the power of mapping that experience, and then the voice of the customer is the key. So mapping that experience overall is really helpful for us to understand what the customers are talking holistically. And the mayo or the ketchup to all of this is the business outcomes. Is Are we, with doing all of this, reducing our cost so that more and more customers are self-serving, or are we helping customers attach a hotel or a car to the business, and where do we need to have those placements in place, is really powerful to then build that entire story end to end. However, to do this, and this is the last bit, but the most important one, is that transformation really starts from within. This is not something which we can do as CX teams, as CX leaders, we can do in silo. We need to change the mindset of the various teams which we work with, and make sure that there is a customer conscience built within the organization overall, so that teams come together. Because if I need to send an email, a reminder email out for a flight credit, I cannot do that if I do not know what my data scientist is telling me, or I cannot do that if the product team hasn't built that page for that particular product. So changing that mindset and making sure that this end-to-end customer journey becomes the voice of the customer on the table, and breaking down various silos so that we can take all the teams together to make sure that we are not kind of solving our own or progressing on our own roadmaps, but what our customers' roadmap is, because they're really charting their own story out there and they're building their own trails. So with that in mind, and with that, that's what I had. I would like to say, I don't know whether Nipa, there are any questions, but that's what I had for today on how to hit that reset, look at the journey end to end, and have those various layers of data to build that sandwich. It might not be perfect, but it's a great start for all of us CX leaders and CX teams out there. And with that, that's all I have. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Raghav, for the truly enlightening session. As you said, there is an urgent need for a change in the mindset. And of course, customer conscience needs to be at the forefront. We truly appreciate you taking your time out to be here amongst us and sharing your insights and thoughts with all of us. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much, Nepa. And I hope you all have a great rest of the day. Cheers. Thanks.
Thank you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it has been such an eventful day of learning, exchanging insights, and so much more. I hope you all are continuing to give us your valuable feedback. Please fill the feedback forms, go and experience our partner booths in the experience zone, and of course, don't forget to use hashtag ETDataCon and communicate with us on different social media platforms and stand a chance to win exciting Amazon vouchers up to rupees 5,000. So I think there's lots in store for all of us. So now it is time for our closing keynote. I'm going to invite our speaker in just a few minutes. Be right back.